The energy sector, oil, gas, and power. The fuel that runs the entire economy. It is not one business but several very different ones, from drilling crude out of the ground to selling petrol at the pump to generating electricity. Each subsector has its own economics, its own metrics, and its own relationship with the price of crude oil. This is a detailed sector, so we'll take it carefully, the subsectors, the fundamentals, the technicals, and the strategies. Company names are examples only. The first thing to understand about energy is that it is really four different businesses and they don't move together. The first is upstream, the explorers and producers like ONGC who pull crude oil and gas out of the ground. Crucially, they profit when crude prices are high. The second is the oil marketing companies, the downstream refiners like BPCL, HPCL, and IOC. They buy crude, refine it, and sell you petrol and diesel. And here's the twist, they generally benefit when crude is low or soft because their margins expand. So upstream and downstream are almost mirror images. The third is gas, the pipelines and city gas distributors, which are really volume and tariff businesses, steadier than oil. The fourth is power and utilities, the electricity generators, transmission companies, and the fast-growing renewables. These are steady, often regulated, and very capital-heavy. Because they behave so differently, you must always know which subsector a stock belongs to before you analyze it. What moves the energy sector? Four big forces. The master variable is the price of crude oil. It helps upstream producers and hurts oil marketing companies, so a single crude move sends different energy stocks in opposite directions. Watch Brent crude and OPEC decisions closely. The second is government policy. Because fuel touches every citizen, the state heavily influences it through fuel pricing, subsidies, and taxes. This political layer makes OMC earnings less predictable than a normal business. The third is the dollar and the import bill. India imports most of its oil, priced in dollars, so a weak rupee raises the cost of that oil and pressures the whole economy, not just the sector. The fourth is the long energy transition, the multi-decade shift to renewables and electric vehicles. This is a structural opportunity for the power and renewables subsector and a slow, long-term risk hanging over oil. Now, the metrics that let you value these businesses. Let's take the oil marketing companies first, because they're the most watched and the trickiest. Four metrics. The first is the gross refining margin, the GRM, the profit a refiner makes on each barrel it processes. It swings a lot. For the public sector OMCs it jumped to around $10 a barrel in the third quarter of financial year 2026, up from just over $3 the quarter before. A fat GRM lifts profits fast. The second is the marketing margin, the profit on actually selling the fuel. This gets squeezed when crude rises but the government holds pump prices steady, which is a recurring worry. The third is inventory gain or loss. Because OMCs hold huge stocks of crude, a rising crude price creates paper inventory gains and a falling price creates losses, so you must strip these one-offs out to see the true, underlying earnings. The fourth is valuation. OMCs typically trade at low price earnings, around 6 to 7 times, with generous dividends, a classic value and cyclical profile. That cheapness is partly the political uncertainty. Now the other three subsectors, each with its own scorecard. For upstream producers, The key driver is the crude realization, the price they get per barrel. So you watch output volumes and reserves, and you remember they profit when crude is high. Like OMCs, they're usually cheap with high dividends. For gas companies, it's a volumes plus margin story, how much gas they move and the tariff or spread they earn per unit. You watch volume growth and gas prices. These are steadier businesses, often with a re-rating angle as India's gas usage grows. For power and utilities, the drivers are installed capacity, the plant load factor, how fully the plants run, and tariffs. Because these are hugely capital intensive, you watch debt, receivables from state distribution companies, and the capex plan. They're regulated, asset-heavy, and steady. 4 subsectors, 4 different scorecards, that's the essence of analyzing energy. Let's turn all of that into a practical checklist you can actually use on an energy stock. 5 steps. Step 1. Identify the subsector before anything else. Is it an upstream producer, an oil marketing company, a gas business, or a power utility? Everything flows from that. Step 2. If it's an OMC, look at the gross refining margin and the marketing margin together and adjust the reported profit for those crude-driven inventory swings so you see the real earnings. Step 3. Map the stock's crude sensitivity. Ask plainly, does this company get help or hurt when crude rises? That single answer tells you how to trade the oil price. Step 4. Check debt and receivables, which is absolutely critical for the capital-heavy power utilities that are owed money by state distributors. Step 5. Weigh the tempting low valuation against the real risks, government policy interference and the slow, long-term energy transition. Cheap for a reason is a recurring theme here. Run that checklist, and you can analyze any energy name. The technicals for energy demand that you think in subsectors even on the chart. Track the Nifty Energy and Nifty Oil and Gas indices for the broad trend and relative strength. Overlay Brent crude on your chart, but interpret it correctly. Rising crude is bullish for upstream producers and bearish for OMCs, so the same crude line means opposite things for different stocks. Never apply it blindly to the whole sector. Watch the event catalysts, government fuel pricing decisions, subsidy announcements, and the GRM number at quarterly results. These, not chart patterns alone, drive the big moves. And note the split personality. Power utilities and city gas distributors can behave defensively, holding up in weak markets, while oil is far more cyclical. So the sector's relative strength depends on which subsector is leading. So how do you play energy? 4 strategies, 1 per angle. First, the OMC cyclical play. When crude oil falls and stays soft, refining and marketing margins expand, and these cheap stocks can re-rate strongly. Time it with the crude cycle. Second, the dividend harvest. Upstream producers and OMCs pay some of the market's biggest dividends at very low valuations, making them a genuine income play for patient investors. You get paid well to wait. Third, the structural growth play, power and renewables. India's electricity demand keeps rising, and the green energy shift is a multi-year theme, so well-run power and renewable companies offer real long-term growth. Fourth, the city gas re-rating story. Gas distributors' growing volumes offer steadier upside that is far less hostage to the crude price. Match the strategy to the subsector, and energy offers something for both the income seeker and the growth investor. Now the traps in energy, and they catch people who treat it as one sector. The first, hearing that crude is rising and buying all energy stocks. Rising crude helps the producers but hurts the oil marketing companies, so a blanket bet on the sector is half right and half wrong. Always know which side of crude your stock sits on. The second, buying OMCs purely because they look super cheap. That cheapness reflects genuine policy risk. When crude spikes, governments often force OMCs to hold pump prices steady, crushing their marketing margins. The low valuation is partly a warning. The third, assuming oil demand is forever and ignoring the energy transition. The multi-decade shift to renewables and electric vehicles is a slow but real structural headwind for oil and a tailwind for power. Don't ignore the long game. Know your subsector, respect the policy risk, and energy rewards the careful. Energy, gathered up. It's four different businesses: upstream producers, oil marketing companies, gas, and power, and they react in opposite ways. The master rule: rising crude helps producers and hurts OMCs. For OMCs, read the refining and marketing margins, adjusted for inventory swings. The tempting low valuations reflect real policy and transition risk, so cheap is not automatically a bargain. In strategy, play OMCs on soft crude, harvest the fat dividends, and ride the structural power and renewables growth. Always ask which side of crude you're on. Next, the bricks and mortar cyclical, real estate.